Alright, so we just took the stock exhaust off my 2024 Yamaha MT09, and I'm going to go over how exactly you get it off real quick, and then I'm going to show y'all how to install the new exhaust so that everybody can start enjoying the new exhaust on their 2024s. So first thing you're going to do is take this little fairing off to expose the wires for the O2 sensor, and I'll show you over on this side. There's these two little Allen head, let's see, there's two little Allen head bolts right there. You just get them out and so just pop right off, and then here's your O2 sensor. It should just be in these little hooks. And then as far as the radiator goes, you're going to get in here. It's easier on this side. And you can see this little bracket. Let me get the camera on it. You can see this little bracket right here that attaches to this bottom of the radiator here. It's like a little swing arm. Yeah, well, it attaches right in that hole. This is above all the heads. Attaches right in that hole with a 10mm bolt that I have laying around somewhere right here. Yeah, attaches with this 10mm bolt. So you'll just stick a wrench up in there and get that out, and then that way you can pry on the radiator a little to get some room to get the headers off. And those are, I believe, 12, don't quote me, but I believe these are 12mm, and you should be able to reach all those with like a universal joint and an extension, just sticking them up and maybe moving the radiator off a little bit. In another video I watched with the 2023, the guy put a tennis ball in between here, so it's not a bad idea. And then to get the rest of the exhaust off, you're gonna have to come back here to this bracket underneath the brake pedal, and there is this nut that goes on this bolt that actually runs all the way through to the other side. So I was able to get it off by myself without having to use a backup on the other side, but sometimes the whole thing will spin. You might have to put a backup on the other side. You can just put it back up with like an extension on it to hit the ground, and then you can do it yourself or get somebody else to hold the other side. So yeah, you'll take that one off. You'll take this bolt out here that goes into the exhaust, and then I still got to take this other one right here. These are both 14, and then this last one is going to be a 12 that I need to take off to get this. You're going to take this whole bracket off, but just to get the exhaust off, you just take what I already took off, those two bolts, the 14mm. And then there's this one last one, is another 14, I believe, or no, it is 12. It's 12. And it goes right here beneath the shifter, right next to the kickstand. If you can see down and left of the kickstand a little bit, is where it came from. And that's the last spot that your exhaust mounts to. So you'll take that 12 out, that 12mm out, and yeah, you should be able to pull your exhaust loose. This thing is pretty freaking heavy. And then these gaskets here, these little copper gaskets, you're gonna want to keep them and reuse them with your new exhaust. So I'm gonna take this 12mm bolt out, and then I will start another video when I put the bracket on. Now that whole bracket pops off. Now you can put your new bracket in there. It's gonna go like that. Oh, you're looking at the same bolt.
Yeah, he said to use the stock one.
Okay, so you got your bolts here. This is for your M4 exhaust. This is showing you. So that's the bracket, how I got it here, and let me show you specifically how we're gonna put it on. So you're gonna take this little angled piece they give you with the 90s, and you're gonna take the longer piece and face it in towards the bike and slide it on this bolt that you just took the stock bracket off of, the long bolt. Then you're gonna take your bracket, and you'll see it only lines up one way, so you can't get it wrong. It has to line up with that hole. If you got it backwards, it won't line up, and you'll know that it's wrong. See, it doesn't even want to go on there, but it won't reach. So then you're gonna take this, and like the diagram says, you're gonna take the stock bolt that you pulled out of the bracket in the middle. You're gonna put it in the middle, stock bolt on the top, and then your item G, which is the longer of the two bolts that they give you in the pack. These are all the bolts. This is the longer one. Your item G, you're gonna put it there through the bottom like that to attach it to the actual exhaust when we get the exhaust on there, and we put the flange around it like you can see in this picture. Before you install the muffler parts, you want to wipe them down with alcohol so you don't get any fingerprints on them or anything. If you do, then when it heats up, it's going to bake it into the paint basically, so you'll see forever. So wipe them down real good before you install them. If you want to, wipe them down again before you start the bike. Okay, so the exhaust does have these flanges that will slide down the neck if you're not careful. So you either got to put it up there and kind of you can use these and just stick them on the studs that are sticking out, and then that way it'll kind of hold the headers up for you. Or if you want, you could put some tape or something like that behind the neck here so that it won't slide down, and you can easily stick it on there. But yeah, we got that on there. So you're gonna take the 12 millimeter here with your universal joint and extension and stick them up there and start tightening all these down evenly, and then yeah, hopefully we won't have to adjust it at all. If we tighten these first, hopefully we won't have to adjust it and it'll just be in the right spot. But if not, then we might have to come back and loosen these and get it to situate perfectly. All right, so I wanted to show y'all this gasket, because you can see it actually wraps around the bracket here. So instead of having to fight with it and get it right in the right spot when you're trying to hold the exhaust up and get it bolted in and all that good stuff, M4 was nice enough to make a perfectly molded gasket here, or whatever you want to call it, so that we don't have to fight with that. So yeah, make sure that you enjoy that. So we're just gonna slide this exhaust onto the back of the headers there, and then we're gonna get this bracket into position that it lines up with the back of that piece we installed earlier, and then we'll install our long screw or our long bolt through there with a nut on the back side. And yeah, I'll show you when that's done. All right, I made a mistake. So this bracket here that you're putting on, this little piece, the long part, it needs to be at the top and it needs to be sticking outwards. Okay, so it goes on like that, sticks outwards, and that way the other little extension can go to meet up with this bracket to mount it, your exhaust. And then yeah, so this bracket is going to go on top of there. Like I said, you'll use your stock nut there, you'll use your stock bolt in the middle that came off the bracket, and then you'll use this little short bolt here to attach the tip of your exhaust later. And you're using this long bolt that comes with the short bolt, and the long bolt come with the M4 exhaust. You use this long one to go attach to the bracket there. All right, so before I tighten all this bracket up, I'm gonna clean this tip off, and then I'm gonna insert it here, and because you can twist the exhaust here, the muffler, around a little bit and get it situated exactly how you want it. So I'm gonna clean this, put it on, and then make sure that that's how I like it. I got everything on, that looks pretty good to me, so I'm gonna tighten everything down. I put this little nut on the back here. This, like I said, this is where you use that little short bolt that comes in your M4 kit, and it goes right there at the end to screw in your tip, secure your tip, and there's the long one that comes with it. I still gotta bolt it down. So yeah, I'm gonna tighten all this down now, and then we'll move on to the O2 sensor. Okay guys, so that bracket for the radiator I was telling y'all about earlier, that goes in right there in that slot, you can see. I can't see if I'm pointing at it really good. I think Yeah, I'm touching it right here. Yeah, so here's that bracket. So once you get that 10mm bolt out that I was talking about, it just slides right out of the side here. It doesn't need a bolt, there's no pin on the other side, nothing. It just slides out. So you'll just get it back in position, slide it back in position, and then you're gonna put that 10mm through right here. Oh, I think I got it now. Yeah, I'm gonna need to use both hands, but yeah. Okay, so this little piece here comes with your M4 kit. The stock O2 sensor does not fit in the exhaust here. That's for like a AFR gauge or something. Anyways, so you're gonna put this piece either on your O2 sensor and then screw your O2 sensor in and torque them up together, or you're gonna screw this into your header pipe and then screw the O2 sensor into that. I'm gonna go ahead and screw it on, and then I'm just gonna screw in the O2 sensor into the headers, and I'll torque them both down at the same time. All right, ticket 18. Doesn't have to be insanely tight, but you get the point. Then you're gonna run your O2 sensor, and you can use the zip ties they gave you. And I'm gonna figure out how I wanna run it, and then I'll show y'all. I just wanted to show one more thing. So to disconnect this, you're gonna pull up this little tab right here. To disconnect your stock O2 sensor, you're gonna pull up this little tab, and if you want to see how it works, you can use the stock, or the new one that they gave you, and you can plug it into itself, and you can see how it comes apart. You just pull this little tab, and it pulls right out. Okay, so shout out to Yamaha real quick, honestly, because these reusable zip ties are the best thing ever. But yeah, so I ran it to try and avoid touching the oil can here, the oil filter. I just kind of came straight to this 90. Zip tied it off, zip tie, and then I ran the wire on the inside so it's a little more hidden, and then you can run it up over this fastener or whatever, and then the wire will come in, and it has these little built-in hooks in the housing here for where the stock wire was ran. So I just ran that up, kind of bundled it up, and it's gonna fit in here with all the regular wiring, and then your piece, your little fairing here, can go right back on top, and I'll bolt that in and we'll start her up. All right, so there it is, tightened everything up, got the O2 sensor in, ran the wire, put the housing on. All you can see is that little clip for the new O2 sensor extender down there, which I really don't mind that much. If it was black, that'd be nice. I could put some electrical tape over it and it would be a little more stealthy, but yeah, it's all in, it's all wiped down, and we're gonna get the first startup. Let's see.